Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making pizza sourdough, so if you're interested, just keep watching. As you can see, we're starting with an active, bubbly sourdough starter. I have a video on how to feed and maintain your sourdough starter, so if you need some help with that, you can click this link and get started on properly feeding and maintaining your sourdough starter. Alright, we're starting with 100 grams of our active sourdough starter. And then we're going to do 175 grams of marinara sauce. Originally, I wanted to do all marinara sauce and completely replace the water, but I actually didn't have enough of the sauce, so I had to substitute with water. I did 200 grams of water, and I quickly learned when I was mixing in the flour that it would have been really thick and hard to mix. So I'm glad that I only had 175 grams of the marinara sauce because I think it would have been really difficult. But anyways, we go in with 500 grams of flour and 10 grams of salt. The Dutch whisk definitely helped, but around this point I started to realize that this dough was going to be really thick and hard to mix. So I ended up mixing it with my hands off camera just to get the flour really incorporated and get everything mixed together really well. So we have a shaggy dough here, and we're going to let it rest for 30 minutes before we do any stretch and folds. After 30 minutes, we're going to do stretch and fold, and then we're going to wait 30 minutes, and we'll do 3 more rounds just like that, where we do stretch and fold, wait 30 minutes, stretch and fold. This first set, I'm just doing the regular stretch and fold, where you grab a side, stretch, fold it over, do a quarter turn, stretch, fold it over, and you do 4 of those until you make it all the way around the bowl. And we're going to rest 30 minutes. And we're back. After that first set, I like to move to coil folds. This dough is really thick, and so I had to really kind of help it out. I like to go in with wet hands just so I'm not tearing and pulling on the dough too much. And like I said, this dough is thick, and so it kind of took some convincing on my end to get the dough to cooperate. This is my last round. I didn't film the middle ones. Pretty self-explanatory, but this is my last round of stretch and folds. So right here I'm really tucking it in tight into a nice little ball, and it will ferment really nicely that way. I did transfer my dough to a clean bowl so I could get a nice clean dough dump, and you'll see it's probably the best dough dump I've ever had. But look how beautifully this bulk fermented. I did let it ferment on the counter during the day, so I definitely had the help from the heat during the day as it's late spring here. Look at that beautiful dump. Clean bowl glove. And then we're going to go in and we are going to laminate our dough and do our inclusions. I mentioned this in my last video, but I like to do my inclusions during the shaping process. I just prefer it that way. I know a lot of people like to do it during stretch and folds, and that's totally fine. If you like to do that, then you should definitely do that. I'm going to stick with doing it during shaping. As you can see, I'm keeping this lamination process in real time as much as I possibly can, just to show that it does kind of take a little bit of time to laminate your dough and get it really thin and stretched out without tearing it. It's really important to take your time with sourdough. I know it can seem like a lot of effort and intimidating, but if you take your time on the right steps, it really does make a difference. You don't want to be tearing your dough. That's going to completely destroy the whole gluten structure that we just built doing our stretch and folds. So it's worth it to take the extra time just to go nice and slow, stretch out your dough, especially if you've done a cold ferment. Your dough's going to be less willing to stretch out. So listen to your dough, take your time, it will be worth it. Here I'm going in with some seasonings. I did garlic, parsley, and oregano. I would have done basil, I just didn't think of it in the moment. I don't think it was missing any basil, but it's a typical Italian seasoning, so you could definitely throw some in there. And then we are going in with our cheese. I'll be honest, this is not a pizza blend cheese. It is a Mexican blend. I have been searching high and low for the Tillamook pizza blend cheese that I have bought regularly, and I cannot seem to find it. So I did a Mexican blend, and it turned out really, really good. I think the pepper jack was an excellent addition to the flavor combinations. It was really good. So if you have pizza cheese, that's great. If you want to do just mozzarella, that also works, or just cheddar, that's also great. I really enjoyed the Mexican blend, and I would probably do that intentionally next time as well. And then we're going in with pepperoni. I'm just doing a pepperoni pizza loaf. You can do whatever. You can add sausage, you can add olives, bell peppers. This is your sourdough. I personally just wanted to do the pepperoni. I folded my dough into thirds on top of itself, and I'm pinching in all of the sides, so I don't want any of that cheese to escape. And then I'm adding in more cheese and loading up the pepperoni. Once you've got all the toppings you want in there, we're going to roll it up. Just try to tuck the sides in so that you keep all of your fillings inside the dough and it won't spill out all over on the outside. Now I'm going to shape my dough very, very gently. I learned with the lemon blueberry to not go too tight, so I think I did a really good job of getting it taut on the top and not ripping anything through. We're just gonna shape that up nice and gentle and put it in our floured banneton basket. Flour up the top of your bread really good too. I let this proof in the fridge overnight. You can do whatever works best for you. I baked it at 450 degrees Fahrenheit in a Dutch oven with the lid on for 20 minutes. And then I added some cheese on the top and I baked it with the lid off for another 15. I did kind of burn the cheese, so I added some more. And then I just put the lid back on the Dutch oven and put it on the stove to let it melt for a bit before transferring to a wire rack to cool. Then I let it cool completely before cutting, which was so hard because it smelled really good. But anyways, this loaf was a lot of fun to make. It was probably one of my favorite flavors. It tasted really like a slice of pizza. It was so good. I had a lot of fun with replacing water with an ingredient, so I'm definitely going to try that again. I've got some ideas up my sleeve, but if you have any ideas of flavor combinations or ingredients to replace my water with, leave a comment below and I might feature it in a video. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.